Aliens thought they were invisible, until the human whispered in their ear. Commander Zek Thara adjusted the quantum phase modulator strapped to his thorax, watching the familiar shimmer cascade across his chitinous limbs before vanishing entirely. The Vorthak stealth technology had never failed, not in 3 centuries of reconnaissance missions across 17 different worlds. Light bent around him like water around a stone, rendering him completely invisible to any electromagnetic detection system known to exist. His reconnaissance team of 12 had been observing the human settlement of New Geneva Station for 6 rotations now. The humans had established this research outpost on the edge of Kepler 442b's northern continent, apparently studying the planet's unique crystalline formations. What they didn't know was that these crystals were actually Vorthak communication arrays, left behind by his people's ancient expedition fleet. Zeke Thara moved silently through the human compound, his elongated limbs carrying him with practiced stealth past their crude sensor arrays. The humans were fascinating in their primitiveness, still relying on basic electromagnetic spectrum detection, unaware that true stealth lay in quantum phase shifting. Their technology was at least 4,000 cycles behind Vorthak capabilities. Dr. Elena Martinez sat hunched over her workstation in Laboratory 7, surrounded by holographic displays showing crystalline molecular structures. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and exhaustion etched lines around her brown eyes. She had been working for 14 straight hours on the crystal analysis, convinced she was close to a breakthrough. Zeke Thara positioned himself directly behind her chair, studying the human's research with interest. The primitive creature was actually closer to understanding the crystal matrices than the Vorthak High Command had anticipated. Her analysis showed sophisticated pattern recognition that bordered on intuitive. He leaned closer, his invisible form mere centimeters from her shoulder, to better observe her data streams. The quantum phase field hummed silently around him, bending electromagnetic radiation in perfect patterns. No human technology could possibly detect his presence. Elena paused in her work, a strange sensation prickling the base of her neck. She turned slightly, as if sensing something behind her, but saw only empty air. Her hand unconsciously moved to her throat, where a small pendant hung, a gift from her grandmother, made from meteoric iron. The pendant began to vibrate, almost imperceptibly. Zeke Thara watched with amusement as the human's primitive instincts triggered false alarms. He had seen this before on other worlds' prey species, sometimes developed heightened awareness as an evolutionary response to predators, but it was merely psychological. There was no scientific basis for detecting quantum-shifted matter. Elena's pendant vibrated stronger. The meteoric iron, she suddenly realized, contained trace amounts of quantum-entangled particles, a discovery she had made months ago, but hadn't fully understood the implications of. The pendant was resonating with something nearby, something that existed in a state of quantum superposition. She turned slowly in her chair, her eyes scanning the empty space behind her. The pendant's vibration created a subtle harmonic frequency that her enhanced auditory implants installed after a childhood accident could barely detect. Following the resonance, she turned her head toward where the vibration was strongest. Zeke Thara froze. The human was looking directly at him. Not through him, not past him, but at him. Her eyes seemed to track his position with impossible precision. Elena took a deep breath, her scientific mind racing through calculations. If her theory was correct, there was something here that existed in quantum superposition, invisible to normal detection, but creating micro-resonances in quantum-entangled matter. She reached up and gently touched her pendant, using its vibrations to map the shape of whatever was standing behind her. Tall, elongated limbs. Definitely not human. "Hello," she whispered softly, her voice barely audible. "I know you're there." Zeke Thara's 3 hearts stopped beating in synchronized terror. This was impossible. The human couldn't possibly detect him. The quantum phase modulator was functioning perfectly. He could see its readings displayed on his bio-integrated HUD. Every system showed optimal stealth configuration. Elena continued in her whisper, not wanting to startle whatever was there. Your cloaking technology. It's quantum phase shifting, isn't it? Very elegant. But quantum entangled particles can still detect quantum state changes in nearby matter. The invisible alien took a step backward, his massive frame trembling. In 3 centuries of reconnaissance, across 17 different worlds, no primitive species had ever detected Vorthak's stealth technology. It was theoretically impossible. Don't be afraid, Elena continued, still speaking softly. I'm a scientist. I study these crystals because I think they're artificial. You're here because of them, aren't you? Zeke Thera's training warred with his shock. Protocol demanded immediate withdrawal and orbital bombardment to eliminate the security breach. But the human's tone wasn't aggressive. She was curious, scientific, and somehow, impossibly, she had identified their quantum phase technology after mere moments of observation. Elena slowly reached for her workstation controls. I'm going to adjust the lab's quantum field generators. Not to expose you, but to maybe help us communicate better. As she made the adjustments, she whispered again, My name is Elena. What's yours? Zeke Thera stood motionless for several long heartbeats, watching this remarkable human. She had shattered every assumption about primitive species detection capabilities. More importantly, she had chosen dialogue over alarm, curiosity over fear. For the first time in his military career, Commander Zeke Thara made a decision that would change 2 civilizations forever. He reached up to his quantum phase modulator and slowly, carefully, began to deactivate the stealth field. The shimmer of light began to reveal the tall, graceful form of something beautifully alien as Elena smiled and continued to whisper, Welcome to Earth.